Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to the podcast. It's been a little while. I'm sorry, you guys. I've been focusing in other areas, but I definitely want to make this a priority because I love you guys and I love that you're listening and that you're finding value enough to keep coming back. So I'm going to be here for you next week and the week after and every week after that. You guys are a priority. So today I wanted to talk about beliefs. And we're going to define beliefs as thoughts that you think over and over again until they become your truth. Notice how I say your truth, though, because these could be factual things, but a lot of our beliefs are not factual. They're not provable, but they seem very, very true and real to us. They are our truths, our beliefs. And other people may not agree. They have a different truth, okay? And the reason beliefs are so important to pay attention to and to really think about is because they determine everything else in our lives, okay? They determine how we feel about ourselves and about the world around us and our relationships, and they determine how we act and how we present ourselves and how we show up, and they create the results in our lives. We have 60 some odd thousand thoughts per day, but beliefs are ones that we have thought so many times that they are part of our lower brain. They are hardwired in there, okay? Some of our beliefs are really good and they serve us and they create good feelings and actions and results. And some of our beliefs are not creating what we want in our life. So when we take the time to pay attention and really wonder about these things and take the time to work out models for them, like what are my beliefs? What feeling do they create? What actions do I take from that feeling and what results am I getting from this belief? We get to figure out what things we really like and what things are really serving us and helping us to be who we want to be and live how we want to live, and what beliefs are not doing that so much. They're kind of keeping us stuck, holding us back, causing us to be someone that we don't necessarily want to be. Now, I know that this is probably not news to most of you. If you've been listening to the podcast, I talk about this a lot in different forms. Because guess what? The truth is, you can talk about this forever. Because we're always having new thoughts, always having new ideas, and always creating new beliefs, whether consciously or unconsciously. The goal here is to create them consciously. And the beliefs that I want to get into specifically today are beliefs about your faith or spirituality, okay? Because this, to me, is the foundation that we have to build upon. What is it you really believe about the world and existence and God or the universe, its creation, your creation, why you were created, what your purpose is, where you're going, all of that. That is going to be the foundation on which you build the rest of your life, all of your decisions, how you feel about yourself and about others. This is where we have to start. So I'm going to ask you guys a series of questions, and I would really like for you guys to have a pen and paper out or be typing this up or take some kind of notes, because these are really powerful, important questions, and some of them may seem very basic to you. You may have all the answers already, but for many people, they don't come that easy. They aren't things that we've sat and thought about and really come up with what we want to believe. And without that foundation, you're very lost. And if they are answers that come easy to you, then that's okay. Because like I said, we're still going to evaluate these things and pick out which ones are good for you. Maybe all of them are, maybe some of them aren't. And try to replace the ones that aren't good for you. And guess what? You get to decide what is and is not good for you. And we know what is and is not good for you by the way we feel and by the results they create. Okay? So get something to write with. We are digging in, and I'm going to give you my answers here. Okay? So your answers may be very different than mine. Okay? That's all right. Just write your answers. I'm giving mine as examples. So number 1, what do you believe about the nature of God? So meaning like his character, constitution, essence, disposition, etc. Okay? Like, I believe that he's an individual with a body of flesh and bone. I believe that he is my heavenly Father, the literal Father of my spirit, and he loves me, and he created heaven and earth and me. I believe that he is love. He knows all things, obeys all laws, natural and spiritual laws, and that he's perfect and gives us agency to be able to choose and decide whatever we want, and that he wants us to choose him, but he's not going to force us to. He wants us to come to him. So that's what I believe. You may believe that he's a spirit and he's all around. You may believe that there is no deity. Maybe it's just the universe for you. But whatever it is, write it down. And if you don't know, really think about it. Don't just tell yourself you don't know. Give yourself some time to really consider what you have believed about this in the past or currently. Okay. Number 2, what do you think God's purpose is for creating this earth and people? What do you think God's purpose is for creating earth and people? And this is going to be very different from person to person. Maybe you don't believe that there is a purpose. Okay. What I believe is that he wanted us to receive bodies, that we were just spirits, and he wanted us to receive bodies. He wanted to give us an opportunity to learn and to choose for ourselves what we're going to believe and who we want to be. And he wants us to grow to become more like him. And for that, we needed a body, and we needed to learn to exercise faith. And I believe that he wants us to learn to be like him through trial and error. We needed to be able to have that agency and to be able to make mistakes in order to learn better. Number 3, what do you believe God can comprehend, and how is it different from what you can comprehend? Okay, can he comprehend all things? Does he only see things the way we see, as the here and now and then what's past? Or can he predict the future? Or how does that work? Number 4, what do you believe God thinks about you? So when he's thinking about you as an individual person, what are the thoughts that come to his mind? Like, I think that he thinks that I'm good, basically good, and that he thinks that I'm going to excel through my challenges, and that he knows I'm trying. But I also think sometimes, whether or not this is true, and actually I'm sure this is not true, but sometimes I think this. I think that he thinks to himself that I'm lazy, and that I'm falling short, and that I should or could be doing more. Okay? So not everything we put here is going to be stuff that we like necessarily. But I'm just being honest, right? It's really important to be honest with yourself. These are some of the things that sometimes I wonder, does he think this about me? Number 5, how do you think God feels about you? And I think he feels an awful lot of love, patience, and empathy. And thank goodness for the patience. Number 6, what do you think God wants for you? I believe that he wants me to be happy, but that he also wants me to experience all of life's emotions, right? Because everything is 50-50. You can't have happiness without sadness. You can't have success without, have the feeling of success without also feeling failure and having that contrast, right? So I don't think he just wants me to be happy all the time. I think he wants me to have all of the human experience and emotions. I think that he wants me to have unshakable faith and love and service and to lift others and to have perseverance. Okay, so questions 1 through 6 that we just did, they all come in the form of what do you think? What do you believe? How do you think? Okay. Now I want you to just change the wording on those a little bit for the next 6 questions. Okay. So number 7 is, what do you want to believe about the nature of God? Now I know you're going to be like, I don't just get to choose what I want to believe about the nature of God. There's things that are just true about it, and there's things that aren't. But guess what? You can't prove that, which means that you get to believe whatever you want. I'll just tell you one thing that I thought of that I don't totally believe right now, but that I really want to believe about the nature of God. And that is that he is always near me, like close enough for me to touch him. Okay? That he is just always here, even though I can't see him. That's one thing about the nature of God that I really want to believe. We're just going to add the word want to all of these questions, okay? So number 8 is, what do you want to think God's purpose is for creating this earth and the people? And I want to believe, and I do believe, that it was never meant to be easy. And if you're wondering if you can just put the same answers here and there, that is okay, yes. Meaning like, I do believe that it was never meant to be easy. I also want to believe that it was never meant to be easy. I also want to believe and never forget that the purpose is to have love and to progress. And also, as you're going through this second set of questions here, I want you to take note of the reason why. Why do you want to believe these things? Like, I want to believe that it was never meant to be easy because then when things go quote unquote wrong, nothing has actually gone wrong. When things are hard, this is how it's supposed to be. And if it's supposed to be this way, then there's totally a way to get through it, to overcome. That brings a lot of hope and comfort to me. So that's why I want to believe it. Number 9, what do you want to believe God can comprehend and why? My answer on this was basically the same thing that I had before. It's what I already believe, that he knows all things, beginning from end. And this gives me confidence to follow him. Because if he knows everything and he loves me, then he's going to show me the right way. And I can follow him in confidence. That's why I want to believe it. Number 10, what do you want to believe God thinks about you and why? And here's what I want to believe. In contrast to all the I fall short and I'm lazy and all of that negative stuff that I currently believe, what I really want to believe God thinks about me is that I'm a VIP. I'm a very important player or person, doesn't matter which, because in my analogy, I'll share it with you. The reason I want to think this is because I don't want to believe he thinks anything negative about me, but that he sees my potential and that he's coaching me to be my best self someday, right? Because when a coach looks at their most valuable player, they don't think, wow, he's lazy, he's not doing as much as he could be doing. No, he thinks, this guy is amazing, and I can see how much better he can become, and all this potential he has, and I just want to make him better. I want to show him the way. So that's what I want to believe. I want to believe that when God thinks about me, he thinks, Angie is a very important player. I see what she can do, and I'm going to help her get even better. Number 11, how do you want to think God feels about you? And I want to think that he feels love and patience towards me, because I need those things. They're how I want to feel about myself. I want to feel more love and patience for myself. So when I practice thinking that God feels love and patience for me, that's comforting, and it gives me hope to aspire to be that, to have more love and patience for myself, and to create more love and patience for others. Number 11, what do you want God's purpose for you to be, and why? What I want my purpose to be is to help thousands of people to know him and themselves better. Because this is just the greatest work. It's the whole point. It's freedom and it's growth. And I just want everyone to have that knowledge that I have. Now, that being said, I would never impose my will or my beliefs on anyone. That's why I love being a coach so much, is I get to help others really see themselves, really get to know themselves. And what I believe is that they are love, that they were created in love, to be love, and to grow in love. And all I have to do is listen to them and ask them questions to help them see inside themselves and see who they are, and they come up with that all on their own. And it takes time. It's different for everybody, but I want my purpose to be giving and sharing and increasing the love in the world, and helping people to see that love within themselves and to have more love for themselves is such an amazing way to do it. So, sorry, that was a bit of a rant, but that's what I want my purpose to be. That's what I think my purpose is. And that's why I want that to be my purpose. And I get to look at this questionnaire, all these things that I've answered, and decide if it fits, if it works with the other things that I believe, and I think it's right in line, which allows me to live with integrity, right? All right, so we just went through 12 questions, and the next 12 questions are different only in that instead of saying, what do you believe about God? We're just saying, what do you believe about yourself? Okay? So question 13 is, what do you believe about your nature? 14 is, what do you think your purpose is for being alive on this earth? 15 is, what do you believe about your ability to comprehend? I'll tell you this one on mine, I put that I am very short-sighted. That's what I believe about my ability to comprehend. And I also put that I can learn things on a spiritual level that I can't understand or explain in any other way. Number 15, what do you believe about your ability? 16. How do you think about yourself? And I've got some not very nice negative things on there. And then I also have some good things, that I'm a good friend and I'm a good wife and I'm caring and I'm good at my job and I can keep growing in it. Okay, so I've got positive and negative in there. Number 17, how do you feel about yourself? And some of the things I put were disappointed, annoyed, ashamed, but also love and compassion and grace. Number 18, what do you want to believe about your nature? Okay, that's where we take all of those questions, we just put the want in. What do you want to believe about your nature? And when I asked this of myself, I wasn't expecting to get the answer I got. I surprised myself a little bit, because my answer to number 13, what do you believe about your nature, was, I believe that I have good and evil inside me, and I'm supposed to learn how to choose the good. But what I want to believe about my nature is that I am love. I am all love. And that choosing anything contrary to that is not being true to who I am. See, I want to believe that my nature is not bad. There's nothing inside of me that is bad. So I am just love. And when I choose anything contrary to that, I'm not living in line with who I really am. So that's something that I'm going to work on and practice believing. Because the feeling that I get when I think there's good and bad inside of me is kind of a sense of like urgency or fear, like there's a battle raging inside of me. And I, like, the two lions, there's a good lion and a bad lion living inside of each of you, and which one lives? The one you feed, right? And that kind of makes me worried that maybe someday the bad is going to win. But when I have this thought that I am love and anything contrary to that is just not who I am, that gives me a lot more confidence and courage. And when I make a mistake, I can be like, oh, that's not really who I am. I don't want to do that. Let's not do that again, because that's not me. Feels way better to me. All right, number 19, what do you want to think your purpose is for being alive on this earth? Number 20, what do you want to believe about your ability to comprehend? I put someday, not in this life, but someday, I will comprehend all things. And I believe this on a certain level, but it's kind of hard to totally take in, kind of hard for me to completely accept right now. So that's a belief I'm working on. What do you want to think about yourself? I put a few things. I put in like that I make X amount of dollars. And of course I have a number in the X spot. That I'm awesome and that I have energy and that I'm strong, and that I'm fun and clean and organized. Those are the things I want to believe. How do you want to feel about yourself? And I want to feel accomplished and confident and fulfilled. And then what do you want for yourself? That's number 23, and it's the last one. What do you want for yourself? And I put to be a successful businesswoman. And I got really specific about what I meant by that, okay? And put that in my notes in there. And I want to have a balanced personal, social, family, and work life. I want to go on trips, have family vacations, be completely out of debt, and not be afraid of my feelings, meaning that I never buffer. And I've talked about buffering before, but basically it's anything you do to avoid feeling a negative emotion. We all do it sometimes. But what I want for myself someday is to never be afraid of any feeling ever again, to never buffer through it. And then you put why you want those things for yourself. Because the why is so important. The why determines if it matters and if you're actually going to work for it. So I really want to encourage you guys to take some time to answer these questions thoroughly. I loved doing this worksheet on myself. I mean, and I created it for heaven's sake, but I was finding some answers to these questions that surprised me. And I got to decide if those were things that I really wanted, if those things were really serving me, or if there was something new that I wanted to work on. And I'm really excited to do the work on learning to believe the new things that I want to believe about myself and about God and about my purpose. It's been a blast talking to you guys, and I will definitely be back on next week and every week after that on a Monday, and I look forward to talking to you then. Bye.